Welcome to this episode of History in Quotes. If you enjoy our content, please subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up vote, and use the bell icon to get notifications. John F. Kennedy, commonly known as JFK, was the 35th President of the United States, serving from January 1961 until his assassination in November 1963. Born on May 29, 1917, in Brookline, Massachusetts, Kennedy came from a prominent and wealthy Irish-American family. His father, Joseph P. Kennedy, was a successful businessman and a significant figure in the Democratic Party, which undoubtedly influenced JFK's decision to enter politics. JFK was a war hero, having served in the United States Navy during World War II, and he received the Navy and Marine Corps Medal for his brave actions in the Pacific Theater. As a young politician, Kennedy demonstrated exceptional charisma, which ultimately helped him gain the Democratic nomination for president in 1960. His televised debates with the Republican candidate Richard Nixon showcased Kennedy's remarkable ability to connect with the American public. As president, JFK focused on domestic and foreign policy issues, including civil rights, the space race, and the containment of communism. He was known for his oratory skills and delivered many memorable speeches, which are still quoted today. Despite his short time in office, his legacy left a lasting impact on the United States and the world. Here are 10 memorable quotes and achievements by John F. Kennedy. 1. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This famous quote comes from his inaugural address on January 20, 1961. With this statement, Kennedy aimed to inspire a sense of civic duty and patriotism among American citizens. He encouraged people to take personal responsibility for the betterment of the nation and to focus on giving back to the community. By doing so, he hoped to foster a spirit of cooperation and unity across the country. This call for collective action resonated with many Americans, sparking a wave of volunteerism and public service initiatives. One notable example was the establishment of the Peace Corps in 1961, which aimed to promote global understanding and help developing countries through education, healthcare, and community development projects. This program has since grown and evolved, with thousands of volunteers serving in over 140 countries to this day. In a broader context, this quote reflects Kennedy's vision for a more engaged citizenry, willing to work together for the common good. It is often cited as a defining moment in his presidency and continues to be an influential mantra for those interested in public service or civic engagement. 2. The Cuban Missile Crisis. In October 1962, the world came perilously close to nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Soviet Union, under Premier Nikita Khrushchev, had installed nuclear-armed missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the United States coastline. This move alarmed the Kennedy administration and escalated tensions between the two superpowers. President Kennedy's handling of the crisis is widely regarded as one of his most significant achievements. He displayed strong leadership, calm decision-making, and skilled diplomacy in managing the situation. He set up a military blockade around Cuba to prevent further missile shipments, while also pursuing back-channel negotiations with the Soviet Union. The situation was incredibly tense, and the risk of a full-scale nuclear war loomed large. Ultimately, Kennedy's tactics paid off, and the Soviet Union agreed to remove the missiles from Cuba in exchange for a promise from the United States not to invade the island nation. Additionally, the US secretly agreed to remove its missiles from Turkey, which bordered the Soviet Union. This resolution diffused the crisis and is considered a pivotal moment in the Cold War, as it demonstrated the importance of diplomacy and restraint in averting catastrophe. 3. The Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. As part of his efforts to promote peace and mitigate the risk of nuclear conflict, President Kennedy pursued arms control measures with the Soviet Union. A notable achievement in this regard was the signing of the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, PTBT, on August 5, 1963. This treaty, which was signed by the United States, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom, prohibited nuclear weapons tests in the atmosphere, underwater, and in outer space. It aimed to curb the dangerous arms race and reduce the harmful effects of radioactive fallout on human health and the environment. By doing so, the treaty represented a critical step in the broader efforts to promote disarmament and prevent the escalation of nuclear tensions. Although the PTBT did not eliminate all nuclear testing, it laid the foundation for future arms control agreements and demonstrated the willingness of the major powers to collaborate on matters of global security. The treaty marked a significant achievement for Kennedy, who had long advocated for international cooperation in addressing the threats posed by nuclear weapons. 4. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. This quote is taken from John F. Kennedy's famous Moon Speech, delivered at Rice University in Houston, Texas, on September 12, 1962. With this statement, Kennedy outlined his ambitious goal for the United States to become the first nation to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. This declaration not only highlighted Kennedy's commitment to American technological and scientific advancement, but it also emphasized the importance of setting challenging goals to inspire and unite the nation. Kennedy's vision for space exploration would ultimately lead to the successful Apollo 11 mission in 1969, which saw astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walk on the moon's surface. Kennedy's Moon Speech remains an iconic moment in American history, as it showcases his ability to motivate and rally the public around a common cause. His focus on pushing the boundaries of human achievement and innovation continues to inspire generations of scientists, engineers, and astronauts. 5. The Alliance for Progress. In March 1961, President Kennedy introduced the Alliance for Progress, a program designed to promote economic and social development in Latin America. The initiative aimed to strengthen the ties between the United States and Latin American countries, while also countering the spread of communism in the region. The Alliance for Progress provided financial aid, technical assistance, and support for various projects, such as infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and agricultural improvements. The program's goals were based on the idea that economic and social progress would lead to more stable, democratic societies in Latin America, ultimately benefiting both the region and the United States. Although the Alliance for Progress had mixed results and faced criticism for its implementation, it demonstrated Kennedy's commitment to fostering international cooperation and promoting development in less fortunate regions. It also laid the groundwork for future initiatives aimed at addressing global poverty and inequality. 6. Mankind must put an end to war, before war puts an end to mankind. This quote by John F. Kennedy underscores his commitment to peace and the prevention of global conflict. As a World War II veteran, Kennedy was no stranger to the horrors of war, and he understood the potential devastation that a nuclear conflict could bring. During his presidency, he consistently sought diplomatic solutions to international crises and worked towards the reduction of nuclear arms. One of the key ways Kennedy sought to address the dangers of war was through his efforts to promote arms control and disarmament, as evidenced by the partial nuclear test ban treaty mentioned earlier. Furthermore, his diplomatic approach to the Cuban Missile Crisis demonstrated his belief in the power of negotiation and dialogue in resolving conflicts, even in the most tense and high-stakes situations. 7. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. This quote emphasizes his forward-thinking approach and highlights the importance of adaptability and progress. Kennedy understood that societies must evolve and embrace change in order to prosper and overcome challenges. This mindset was a driving force behind many of his policies and initiatives, as he consistently sought to push the boundaries of what was possible and chart a new course for the nation. 8. The establishment of the President's Commission on the Status of Women. In 1961, President Kennedy established the President's Commission on the Status of Women to address issues related to gender equality and the role of women in society. The commission, chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt until her death in 1962, examined various aspects of women's lives, including employment, education, and social welfare. The commission's final report, published in 1963, highlighted the persistent discrimination and unequal treatment faced by women in the United States. The report made a series of recommendations to improve gender equality, such as the adoption of equal pay legislation, expanded access to childcare, and increased educational opportunities for women. The establishment of the President's Commission on the Status of Women marked an important step towards addressing gender inequality in the United States. It raised awareness of the challenges faced by women and helped pave the way for future advancements in women's rights. 9. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal. This quote comes from Kennedy's commencement address at American University on June 10, 1963, known as the Peace Speech. In this address, Kennedy emphasized the importance of peaceful coexistence between nations and the shared responsibility all countries have to preserve the planet for future generations. The speech marked a significant turning point in the Cold War, as Kennedy called for a new approach to the conflict, one based on mutual understanding, respect, and the pursuit of peace. He also highlighted the importance of arms control and diplomacy, particularly in the context of nuclear weapons, which posed an existential threat to all nations. Kennedy's words serve as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of humanity and the need for global cooperation to address shared challenges. His emphasis on peaceful coexistence and the pursuit of common goals continues to resonate today, as the world faces new and complex threats. 10. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. Although John F. Kennedy did not live to see the Civil Rights Act signed into law, his administration played a pivotal role in laying the groundwork for the landmark legislation. Kennedy was a vocal advocate for civil rights and, in June 1963, proposed comprehensive civil rights legislation that aimed to end racial segregation and discrimination in the United States. Following his assassination in November 1963, Kennedy's successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, continued to champion the cause and successfully pushed for the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. The act outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin and was a major step forward in the fight for racial equality in the United States. In conclusion, John F. Kennedy's presidency was marked by moments of exceptional leadership and a focus on promoting peace and unity. His call for civic engagement, his deft handling of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and his role in the partial nuclear test ban treaty serve as enduring reminders of his commitment to creating a better, safer world. That just about wraps things up for this episode of History in Quotes. If you enjoy our content, please subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up vote, and use the bell icon to get notifications.